It's a good start for Tennessee. 88-56, a winner over a Longwood. The 3, no issue with the 14. We'll look back at this game and tell you who shined as Tennessee preps for now a showdown against 11th-seeded Michigan on Saturday. This is your postgame, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome into it. This is your post-game edition of Locked On Vols. Tennessee, no issue with Longwood. 88-56, the 3 over the 14, and Tennessee made quick work of Longwood in this one. It was, at the very beginning of the game, Longwood was sticking around for a little bit. It was 16-15 Tennessee advantage with about, 12, 13 left in that first half, and then Tennessee goes on a 7-0 run, making it 27-17. It was 13-2 over the last 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in that span. Ending the halftime, or heading into halftime, Tennessee ended the first half on a 13-0 run. That was over the last 3:13. 16-3 run over the course of the, heading into the half, I guess. And Longwood was held scoreless the final 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the first half. As Tennessee led at the half 54 to 24. Tennessee, or 29, excuse me. Tennessee shot incredibly well from the half, and that continued on into the second half when Tennessee started putting in some more of its subs. But at the end of the day, Tennessee had 5 players score double figures. The Vols shot a blistering 60% from the field. Tennessee couldn't miss from three-point land, 58% on the day, made 14 three-pointers, which was fantastic. Turned the basketball over a little bit, but was able to cash in on a ton of Longwood turnovers and scored in there for second half points. Won the rebounding battle and had 29 assists on 33 made buckets. Tennessee, that's, again, we talk about winning formulas. Tennessee just continues to assist on the majority of the made buckets, and I love that stat, looking at the end of every single basketball game. So, really good showing for the University of Tennessee. But, back into that first half when Tennessee really pulled away from this game. Again, it was a 1-point game with about 12, 13 minutes left in the first half. Then Tennessee goes on a couple of runs, ending the first half with 3 players that really shined. Josiah Jordan-James, an incredible first half once again, 15 points in the first half, and he finished the ball game with 17 points. He was 3 of 4 from downtown, five rebounds, 2 assists in the first half. Santiago Vescovi had 12 points and 4 assists in the first half. John Fulkerson, a really nice game overall. He finished with 13 points in the first half, and overall in the entire game, he had 15 points. So guys like James, guys like Fulkerson didn't have to do a whole lot in the second half, obviously, but they did the grunt work in the first half. But in that first half, Tennessee shot 67% from the field, 62% from three-point land. Only turned it over 2 times, forced 11 turnovers for Longwood, turned it into 17 points off turnovers. Tennessee hauled in 2 offensive rebounds, had 9 steals and 18 assists on 20 made buckets. Those were all the first half stats for the University of Tennessee. They scored 54 points in the first half of play, 34 in the second half. But of course, Tennessee emptied its bench. You got to see guys like James Adu come in. His minutes have really been sliding here of late because Brendan Huntley-Hatfield's been playing so well. Uros Plavsic has been playing so well. But you got to see guys like Adu, Quentin DeBoonjay, Victor Bailey Jr. play a little bit more, although he was in there with some of the normal rotation. Jemiah Mashack played a lot. Powell got to get about 4 minutes of action there towards the end of the game, but Tennessee emptied its bench, played a whole lot, and was able to hold Longwood to a 38% from the clip, 32% from 3, and 82% from the charity stripe. But Tennessee, a really nice opening win. Nothing to worry about in this one. Again, 88-56 was the final score for the University of Tennessee. You had 17 points from Josiah Jordan-James that finished 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from downtown, 9 rebounds and 2 assists. Josiah Jordan-James continues his winning ways. He was incredible. 18 from Santiago Vescovi, took 10 shots, 8 of which from three-point land, made all 6 of his made shots from beyond the three-point arc, had 7 assists too. That was really impressive. You had 15 points from John Fulkerson that, again, played lights out, was really assertive with the basketball, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 17 minutes and 15 points, 13 points from Kennedy Chandler that he didn't have to do a whole lot, really didn't have to do a whole lot whatsoever, but he did have 5 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He only turned it over 3 times. He had made 3 3-pointers as well. And then he had 10 points with his guy Ziegler. They played 24 minutes, made about half of his 3-point shots, 2 of 4, 3 of 5 from the field. But just a total team effort. No one really had to take over in this basketball game. So a really, really good start here in this one. What else has happened over the course of opening round of the NCAA tournament action? We'll discuss in segment number 2. But that time of the year again, we're talking college basketball like crazy. It's happening right now as we go through this postgame podcast. For all the latest odds, contests, player props, BetOnline.net, your number one source for all your sports betting needs and information. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. It's not just about basketball. It's about you're continuing your source for your sporting wagering information, live betting info, and some more stuff about your Las Vegas favorite casino games as well. You can head on over to the website right now or use your mobile device, learn about all the latest trends and the action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Not really a whole lot to recap here in this post-game podcast. I mean, it was Tennessee doing what Tennessee should have done in the opening matchup against Longwood, doing what a 3 seed should do against a 14th seed. Just, making quick work in the South region. 88-56 was the final score. So let's look ahead at Michigan. Now we can officially look ahead at what's to come on Saturday. And we'll talk more about this in Friday's episode. Going to get Ben McKee on to record that episode as well here in a little bit. But credit Michigan. Down 15 in the first half, came all the way back and took down Colorado State 75-63. You had a backup point guard in Frankie Collins that got the start, played 31 minutes, scored 14 points, had 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He played phenomenal for, again, their starting point guard that's out in concussion protocol. But Michigan, double-digit scoring efforts from 4 of the 5 starters. Didn't play a whole lot of bench players that don't normally do that, too often. Houston had 13. Dickinson had 14. Brooks had 16. But it was Michigan that came storming back and taking down Colorado State by a score of 75-63. Shot over 50% from the field in this game. 54%, where Colorado State cooled off to 35%. Turnovers. Didn't win the turnover battle, had 15 turnovers compared to only 11 turnovers for Colorado State, but able to corral 5 steals and, able to play good defense and do what a Big Ten basketball team normally does, against a lower level opponent. And that's what Michigan did in the second half. So a lot of people, myself included, saying Michigan should not have even been in this tournament, right? That doesn't stop the Wolverines. They're advancing on to the second round in the round of 32, and will take on Tennessee on Saturday, 75-63, that final score. Other scores so far, of course, we're just working our way through the late afternoon, early evening on the first round day of scores here this Thursday. You've got Gonzaga and Georgia State right now at halftime. This is real time. Of course, it'll change once you listen to it. Georgia State only down 2 to Gonzaga, 33-35 at the half. North Carolina is blowing away Marquette in the matchup, 53-25 in the 8-9 seeded matchup. Baylor dominated Norfolk State, 85-49. Providence ran away from South Dakota State. South Dakota State was a trendy upset pick, 66-57. Richmond took down Iowa. That was a very trendy upset pick, 67-63, the 12 over the 5 already. It was Memphis over Boise State, 64-53. The 9 over the 8. Michigan, of course, over Colorado State. And there will be tons more left here on the docket here today as the opening day of NCAA tournament action is upon us. And Tennessee made quick work of Longwood and will advance on to take on the Wolverines of Michigan. We got plenty more coming up. We'll have a Friday show. Ben McKee will join me. We'll take a little bit more look at Michigan as we continue to venture on throughout this tournament weekend. I'm Eric Kane, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on this post-game podcast. Tune in tomorrow on a Friday to get your normal Friday programming. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. Those subscriptions have been through the roof. Thank you so much. It's been awesome, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.